Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Today is Wednesday, July 8th, 2026, and we are here for our regular scheduled city council meeting. Just a little housekeeping. If you need to utilize the bathroom, men's room, ladies' room is right outside this door on the right-hand side. Gentlemen's room is at the top of the main staircase. If you need to utilize your phone, please step out and utilize your phone and don't speak on your phones in-house because the acoustics picks up everything. So at this time, if you can mute your phones and or turn it off, whatever makes you more comfortable. We do have public speakers. Those speakers will come to the mic and state their name and address for the record and then state what they're speaking about. They have 4 minutes to do so. Also, every council person will respond to the public speakers after the last speaker has spoken. With that being said, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Councilman Wallace.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
And to
the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We're going to get into our public speakers. First, I'm going to maneuver around the sheet here. Mr. Paul Henderson, are you here? Hi. I'm sorry? Yeah. Yeah. Hi, state your name and address for the record, and then you can begin. You have 4 minutes. Thank you so much. Can you see the red, is it a red light on there? Push the button until the light is red.
That better? Yeah.
There you go. Thank you, sir.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Paul Henderson. I'm the Executive Director of Vertex Outpatient Services and Mental Health. We're looking to bring and open a mental health clinic here in Mount Vernon. Vertex, we have a location on 1080 East Gun Hill Road in the Bronx. So we do a lot of work with a lot of state agencies and law enforcement in Mount Vernon. We've our presence in treatment court for a long time with Judge Gross before he retired. We did a lot of work in treatment court with Judge Gross before he retired. Judges came, some other folks. So we're going to, everything is done evidence-based practice. We're fortunate to have Dr. Michael Pratt as our psychiatrist, who was appointed to the Commission of Psychiatry for the state of New York by Governor Hochul. Where everything will be done in a timely fashion. Currently, there are about 6,000 people living in Mount Vernon who are under criminal justice supervision. And with criminal justice supervision comes sometimes deviant behavior and not the ability to make sound decisions. So we will be able to address some of those things, have the citizens of Mount Vernon who are returning home to have some structure and some way of doing things better, because they will probably return home anyway. So it's better if they have provided some structure to be a better head of household. For those who are single parents and for those who are seeking employment, we'll be doing those things also. I've spoken to Assemblyman Gary Pretlow about us opening up a program here, and he said that was good. I've spoken to Sean Patterson, the mayor. I've spoken with Darren Morton, the controller. I've spoken with Gene Apollon, the deputy controller. I've spoken with retired Senator Ruth Hassel Thompson, and I've also spoken with Ken Jenkins, the executive of Westchester, and they all think that it's a good idea. We're experienced. My background is I was assistant commissioner for New York City Department of Probation. I was a director for Department of Corrections on Rikers Island. I supervised 6 jails, staff in 6 jails. Been a professor at Metropolitan College for the last 23 years, teaching organizational behavior at a graduate level. I think that we'd be able to complement a lot of the things that Mount Vernon has going on in terms of behavioral health and structure for some of the citizens, and this would have a definite impact on public safety, which I think is at paramount right now for everyone. Just from me having some pizza and walking over here, I saw that there was a need. So I just would like everybody to be considerate, to let you know that our offices, I have an office on 100 Stevens Avenue with the old Montefiore site. They're renovating it right now. So I hope to see everyone again. I would have came next month to, let you guys ask a lot of questions, but my youngest son is having a 50th birthday party, and most of my 19 grandchildren will be there. It's hard to get everybody, and my 9 great grandkids. So sometimes it's hard to get everybody together, and I didn't want to chance it. So if I'm available next month, I would like to come back also. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Dorian Cross? In-house or online? Is Dorian Cross online? No? Okay. Wilma Frank?
Good evening, Wilma Frank. I came here to address something that was very disturbing to me. I just got back from Grenada on vacation when I flipped my phone and I saw the mayor talking about this young man that was attacked by Pennington School for doing his duty, for doing what our ancestor got killed for. So it was very disturbing to me, so I decided to come here and address it. Mount Vernon does not belong to any one of us. We pay our taxes and we live here peacefully. We cannot have people telling our young people that get out of my neighborhood, calling cops to arrest them and things like that. This is totally unacceptable. We cannot have that. This sounds like Mississippi to me, and we ain't going back, just going forward. So we just have our independence, 250 years. And the Constitution states at the beginning, we the people, not you the people, not I the people, we the people. And we all are created equal. So I want to tell this man, what he should do, he should apologize to this young man and try to live a better life. I'm very sensitive about young people because I lost my son in a different thing, but I lost him when he was 16 years old. And when I see older people acting like if they ain't got no sense, they're not civilized, it disturbs me. Because we not going back there. Our ancestors died to get rights in this country. Whatever we have, we're supposed to walk anywhere we want. Our kids supposed to go anywhere they want to go without people attacking them. So I want to tell this guy to please stop it because it's going to be hell to pay. We ain't going back. I know people are frustrated now, but what they should do, don't take your frustration on people that didn't frustrate you. What he should do, he should take his frustration on the people, on the person who's sending their children to wars, who we paying high gas price and groceries. That's the person he should be attacking, not our people. Do not take your frustration on our people, especially our children. It's not going to happen, especially in Mount Vernon. I've been living here for over maybe 50 years, and I pay my taxes. My people, my children have a right to walk where they walk, talk where they talk, without people attacking them. So please, sir, and whoever, Mount Vernon is not an apartheid state. They're not apartheid. We're not. Maybe on the other side, you all think so for years, but we're not. And we're not going to have it. In Jesus' name. Thank you.
Thank you. Tamara Stewart?
Good evening, council members, city clerk, and my fellow citizens. My name is Tamara Stewart, and I live at 30 Park Avenue. I am a member of the Mount Vernon Reform Initiative. I am here this evening to respectfully request that the council move the Mount Vernon reform petitions forward by sending them to the Westchester County Board of Elections. Over the past few months, our members have spoken to thousands of Mount Vernon citizens and collected thousands of signatures from registered voters. Those who signed our petitions love this city as much as you do, and we are concerned about the ongoing challenges Mount Vernon is facing. We strongly believe that structural change is needed in Mount Vernon to help our city face its challenges, and we believe the 3 ballot proposals on our petitions will improve our city by redistributing power and responsibility for our city's governance. All we are asking is for you to give us, your constituents, an opportunity to have a voice in deciding how we collectively move forward. If you believe that the proposed changes will improve Mount Vernon, then please vote to send the petitions to the Board of Elections. If you believe that our current structure is best for the city, then please vote to send the petitions to the Board of Elections, and let's discuss the pros and cons. In either case, you should respect the people's will and give your constituents an opportunity to be heard. Please move the Mount Vernon reform petitions forward by sending them to the Westchester County Board of Elections. Thank you.
Lance McDowell.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lance McDowell, 144 Stevens Avenue, Mount Vernon, New York. I'm just here to support the legislation, and I spoke last week on, matters, but also here for public safety tonight. That's what I'm gonna deal with tonight. But I'm here to support the legislation. What's happening right now is it's fast cars, no respect for the citizens that walks the streets. I walk to work every day. They're running stop signs. There's nobody to patrol the areas to stop them from running stop signs. And I'm gonna deal with Franklin Avenue first, which is gonna be Franklin Avenue and Fifth Street, Jackson Avenue in Franklin, Adams Street in Franklin, Washington Street in Franklin, and Franklin and First Street. Now we're gonna deal with Union Avenue in Washington, Union Avenue and Third Street, and we're gonna deal with Jackson and Fulton Avenue. Those is danger zones, okay? I don't know what you can do about it. I don't know if you can assign an unmarked car there to, make sure nobody gets hurt, whether it's a civilian or a kid. When school starts back, nobody disregards. People disregards the stop signs in this town for what reason, I don't know. I don't see too many officers out there, stopping cars that's speeding through these stop signs until somebody get hurt. I might be talked about for talking about this situation, but I'd rather see somebody safe walking down the streets than somebody laying on the streets hurt. Other than that, that's what I'm here to do and talk about today is public safety. As I deal with safety first anyway, okay? So those are the two things, the legislation that I'm here to, support. Hopefully something get done about the situation I talked about last week. And y'all view the code of conduct, good conduct and stuff like that. Other than that, I hope we can clear this matter with this speeding all through the streets and stuff like that, guys. And Ernie sent his love.
Thank you. David Raish.
Good evening, everybody. I'm David Reich, lifelong Mount Vernon resident. I live at 112 Ridgeway Street in Mount Vernon. Just about a year ago, actually a little less than a year ago, a committee that had been appointed by the mayor was working on finalizing some recommendations for changes to the city charter to hopefully make the government a little bit more responsive, more professional in the way the city operated, all with good intent. And there was some backroom dealing. I don't know the details, but anyway, one member of the committee changed the vote at the last minute. And we then came, a group of us came, myself included, spoke to you guys last year and pleaded with you to please put this on the ballot in November. And basically, we were ignored. So a group of us came together, formed the Mount Vernon Reform Initiative. You've already heard from some of us, you'll hear from more. We're from throughout the city, and we're just people who love Mount Vernon and want to see the place thrive and not go down as unfortunately it seems to be doing in recent years. So I just want to say to you that your primary responsibility is to represent the people who've elected you. And let me just get my notes here. That means listening to the residents, listening to our concerns, acting on reasonable requests that serve the best interest of the community. So over the past several months, the Mount Vernon Reform Initiative has been meeting with residents throughout the city. I want to emphasize this is a citywide, this isn't just Fleetwood or one part of town, this is a citywide effort. We've been meeting with people all over the city to hear their concerns, get their input, and find out how they feel about the way the city is operating. We keep hearing the same messages time and time again. They want a government that's more accountable, that's more transparent, more responsive to the people that it serves. So there are 3 initiatives that have been proposed. I think you've all seen them all. I'm not going to go through them now. But we collected more than 1,800 signatures on petitions. That's more people than voted in, I think, one of the more recent elections. So more than 1,800 petitions to put these initiatives on the ballot so that the public can vote on it and say yes or no. And if it's no, so be it, but at least give people the chance. We submitted the petitions on May 7th. I believe by law, you're supposed to have some sort of a response by July 8th. That's today. So we're asking for you to respond, and hopefully we would like you to pass the petitions and the initiatives on to the County Board of Elections so that the public has a chance to vote on it. The public can say yes or no. So the question before the council is not whether you, the members of the council, personally support these reforms. I would suspect you don't, because it could take away something that you now have and that I think you like. That's power. And it's human nature. I get it. This isn't a personal indictment. It's human nature. You have power, you want to hold on to it. But really more important than that power is remembering what you were elected for, and that's to serve us, the people, please. So more than 1,800 people voted, signed petitions. We want you to act and hopefully pass this on to the County Board of Elections. I just want to say very quickly, I know I'm over.
Please finalize, yes.
Just to remind people, we worked with the National Civic League, a nonprofit organization, who endorses this concept and said more than 70% of cities around the city, including our neighbors, New Rochelle and White Plains, have a city manager form of government, which is one of the proposals that we're recommending. And it's working. Look at White Plains, look at New Rochelle,
Mr. Raish,
look at Mount Vernon.
thank you.
Okay?
Mr.
So
Raish,
please do the right thing, guys. By the way, I have petitions here if anybody wants to sign. it.
Mr. Raish,
Anybody here want to sign?
Mr. Raish, thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Eileen Justino.
Good evening, council members. Eileen Justino, 47 Clinton Street. Tonight, I just want to be here to ask you some questions because, as you know, as part of the Mount Vernon Reform Initiative, we've been talking to many people all across the city. I personally have probably talked to over 500 people, and the residents in the community have been asking me two questions, and I can't answer them because these are questions that only the city council can address. As elected officials, your responsibility is to represent the people of Mount Vernon, to act as a liaison between the residents and city government, to address constituents' concerns, and to maintain open, transparent communication. So I am here tonight on behalf of the many people in our community, and I respectfully request that each of you respond so that residents can clearly understand your position on the following two questions. Number one, why would the city council oppose petitions being submitted to you when your role is to represent the will of the people? Question number two, why would the city hire lawyers at the taxpayers' expense to fight something that taxpayers are asking for? Specifically, placing these three petitions on the ballot. Residents feel like the city is fighting against its own people. So those are the two questions. I will leave this for you. The community deserves a clear answer, and I am asking that you respond directly so residents can better understand your stance on these matters. Thank you.
Marlene Wertheim.
I'm sorry? Oh.
Good evening. Marlene Wertheim at 100 Sycamore Avenue. I appreciate this opportunity to speak. Good, okay. This is a Mount Vernon declaration. The petitions in your hands, awaiting your attention, are of great importance, and they're presenting you with a difficult choice. Do you hold on to the familiar, hold on to what's comfortable and to what benefits you? Or do you take into account many significantly dissatisfied citizens who elected you to put their interests first? At this time, 3 major charter revisions are being introduced: the professional administration and financial management, district representation, and nonpartisan primaries. Each of these is worthy of consideration and of being put forth in the form of a referendum for the public to vote on. We're not being pioneers in seeking such fundamental changes. These approaches already exist in other municipalities. I feel they might be effective in addressing serious imperfections in Mount Vernon's political and administrative structure. Imperfections which are long-standing and too important to be ignored any longer. These choices are not just resistance to the status quo, but are inspired alternatives. Many of us know this quote: "May we be granted the serenity to accept what we cannot change. May we have the courage to change what we can. And may we have the wisdom to know the difference." I believe that we have arrived at the crucial wisdom referred to, that we can initiate moves that will direct our city to a better place. This confident commitment to major change is based on thorough and thoughtful evaluations by dedicated residents of Mount Vernon's history and persistent flaws. To me, these options before you are credible, and I support this possible surge to polish up our tarnished jewel of Westchester.
Francis Ann Lightsey.
Good evening. My name is Francis Ann Lightsey. I reside at 385 East Fifth Street. I've lived there since 1961. My parents bought the house to bring all of us here for a better quality of life. I've spent my life devoting it to the city of Mount Vernon, to make Mount Vernon a better place, for people to recognize outside this city what a great place Mount Vernon is. And with the events that have been going on at Memorial Field, my quality of life has been dramatically influenced very, very negatively, as have my neighbors. 3 years ago, I have the pictures in my phone. There was a group of young ladies that left Memorial Field drunk, where alcohol was not supposed to be served, flipped over a car in front of my house. All of them crawled out of the car on their bellies. Recently, on June the 5th or 6th, and these events, I mean, this continues every time we have one of these events at Memorial Field. It spills over into the neighborhood. On June the 6th, a gentleman came, parked across my driveway, blocked me in the driveway. When he came back from the event at Memorial Field, he urinated in front of my house. And then he opened up his car doors and emptied all the garbage out of his car onto the ground in front of my house. My daughter was very upset with me, but I went outside and I tapped on his window very politely. And I said, "Why would you do that? Garbage cans are 5 feet away from you." He said, "I'm drunk. I've been drinking 40s all night. What you want? You expect me to make it to the garbage can?" But he was driving. He was driving. We have these events. Alcohol is being consumed. I won't say we're serving it, but it's being consumed. And now there's a proposal for us to serve alcohol at Memorial Field. I think that is horrible. I think it's a very bad idea. And I hope that this city council will vote against applying for a license to serve alcohol at Memorial Field. I live in a neighborhood. I don't live in the hood. People are coming to our city from elsewhere. I thank God I don't have a very small child, because the states of undress that I see people walking through the streets to and from these events is very disturbing. I can't sit on my front porch because I don't want to look at somebody's behind or bosom when they're coming to and from these events. So I really sincerely hope that this council will act responsibly and preserve the city that my mom and dad brought me to 65 years ago. Thank you.
Thank you. Samuel Rivers.
Samuel Rivers, 30 Rockledge Avenue, Mount Vernon, New York. Tonight I'm here because I believe the people of Mount Vernon deserve transparency, accountability, and confidence in their government. By all these people speaking tonight, seems like they have zero confidence in their government. That's why I was proactive yesterday and submitted a confidential federal investigative referral to the United States Attorney. We have individuals and organizations, one of them being Kenneth Plummer. The public deserves to know that the same city council people that he elected to put in office then voted for him to receive a $20 million developer fee. How does this happen? I mean, this is just the tip of the iceberg. And this is why you have a room full of people demanding change of their government because of 15 years of how does the YMCA, this guy has been waiting for this project maybe 10, 15 years. How does Kenneth Plummer put you guys, he put you guys there. How does he skip the line and now he has a 350 unit building going up on McQuestion Parkway? How does Reverend Richardson, been in the community a long time, is Kenneth Plummer, I know this is what I hear, shake him down, how does, no one's building anything, that's my point. Except Kenneth Plummer, Atlantic Development. You need to tell me RXR or, NPR, I want to see how they came. NPR didn't know low income before they came to Mount Vernon. So how did Kenneth Plummer with $0 eviction notices, it's public record. You got evicted, Con Edison notices on his door. How does he become an overnight developer with $20 million? $20 million is his fee, and you guys voted on it. I mean, you can't make this up. He put you guys in office. I think Mount Vernon Forward, Mount Vernon Rising, those are all nothing but money laundering operations. I mean, that's all it is. It's political money laundering. He has the Michael Anthony Mount Vernon West rezoning. You guys voted on. You gave him the castle, and I guess that's his reward. So I'm asking for you guys to vote, the city council, all 5, to vote and send this along. Vote to send this and have the United States Attorney investigate any proprieties. If you guys don't vote, I respect for you guys. I ask for you guys' resignation because it's a very big conflict of interest. How this Kenneth Plummer he comes in and runs all these campaigns. You guys vote on it, and then all of a sudden he gets a $20 million developer fee. I mean, it's just unheard of. A brokester, someone with no money, and repeat, $20 million. So I got copies of all this for the council, took my time, my own money, and the taxpayers are paying the $20 million, just so you know. It's not coming from a private developer. You voted for this pilots. It's probably more than $20 million with all the pilot incentives you gave them. So I ask you guys to stop Kenneth Plummer from any more projects bankrupting the city. Thank you.
Jeff Monroe.
Good evening, good afternoon, council member, staff, community. For the record, my name is Jeff Monroe. I'd like to make another public appeal for better execution of a more robust community media system. I'm doing this because I understand you have on the agenda to appoint another council-appointed member of the Cable Television Advisory Committee, and that's great, actually. It sticks in my craw that 2 years ago, I was told to time out my term on the logic that we're going to give some other people their turns, but there was no long line to get on that committee. As we know, these committees are not popular. In fact, I don't think anyone got committed to that, appointed to that committee for several months. And the committee at this point meets maybe once every 2 months, or if that. That's a real sad state of affairs, and I think it's an unfortunate indication of disingenuousness on the leadership. This particular cohort of the city council, I think, can do something about it. In fact, my criticisms exist really only for the 2 senior most council members, especially senior council president Thompson, who literally voted against me for whatever reason that still doesn't pass logical sniff test, right? As to why I shouldn't serve on the same cable advisory committee that almost nobody serves on now, Councilman Thompson. And for whatever reason, the same cable advisory committee that should oversee community media that almost doesn't exist in this city. And it's not because y'all don't take media seriously. The mayor's on a video every 2 days. The school superintendent uses the studio and its, or at least the production aspects of it, for whatever good services that brings to the school district. But he's absolutely not shy about using media. He's in video every week as well. Unfortunately, the public educational and governmental aspect of PEG only currently serves the educational and governmental aspects of PEG. So what's wrong with giving the public, the community who actually pays for this service, to the carriers, the service that they deserve? Because in the 21st century, we shouldn't have to beg for media services. We literally, and by the way, the library, for whatever reason, I had leadership tell me on Facebook that the only reason they don't stream or record their meetings is because they can't pay somebody to actually do the streaming. That's ridiculous. That's actually beyond the kind of person that would tell me that. The actual judgment to do that means that you don't have community media to do the most basic media services in 2026. You should be ashamed. Even the Bronx has community access media. So what's holding up your progress is my point. And furthermore, where are the other appointees that should come from the city council? You have 3 appointees, 3 more appointees you can make. And where are they? The mayor's appointees, I don't see these people meeting at all. I don't see records of their meetings if they happen. So what's going on? The superintendent thinks that community media is actually his fiduciary responsibility. He's dead wrong. And you should be the first people to tell him that by offering actual community media. Finally, there's a land issue that we need to address in Mount Vernon. The warmongering federal government is now about to double down on what may be an international energy crisis. I don't know who's following this here, but Mount Vernon will be heavily impacted. We still can't do urban farming here because the appeal to do that, which I made 6 years ago, was never answered appropriately, and it's never been discussed here. So please consider doing something about that. You've done almost nothing really to deal with that kind of stuff, and the community's resources are still here for your oversight and at least legislative support, if not the executive branch's right and obligation and duty to execute, work for us. So please see to these issues. Thank you.
Did Dorian Cross come in and or line? No? That's it from there. Okay, so now everyone, yes. How may I help you? Now we're gonna have the rebuttal of the council. You signed to speak already and you spoke, so now the council is gonna respond. The- Miss Justino, now you all have spoken, so now the council is gonna respond to all the questions that were put forth, okay? We're gonna have a response from council persons now. We'll start with Councilman Wallace. If we have.
I'm gonna go backwards since I already have this open. Let me go through here. Jeff Monroe. I thought you still was on the board because last I remember, we were fighting to get this thing done for a very long time. And you have been working on this for quite some time to try to get this thing moved forward. So I have no idea why you're not on the board. If you are to reapply, you have my vote 100%, because we need people who care about it, the industry, and who understands the industry and who understands how it works. Because a lot of people don't realize that the taxpayers do pay for this, and the taxpayers from paying your bills actually to Verizon and Spectrum and all of those, we're supposed to be collecting that money. And I hope that we're doing it, and I hope that somebody's paying attention to it, because it's called Community Access Channel, but the community has still no access to it. It doesn't make any sense to me, and it needs to be addressed. And, that's something that I will be talking about. Matter of fact, now that you brought that up again, because I thought that we would have been advanced by now with something happening. I came back here 10 years later to see that we're in the same place. That makes no sense. So yes, please reapply for it. And like I said, I can't speak for any other council member, but you do have my vote. Mr. Rivers, I'm gonna read this whole thing. This is very interesting. And I agree, you have my recommendation to send it off. And if you need somebody to help send it off, I will send it off to you. I'll give you a list of people to send it to. So that is not a problem whatsoever. And yes, I hope that the rest of the colleagues agree, but I don't speak for them. I speak for myself. And a lot of the things that are going on with those buildings being put up and things like that need to be looked at, because it's costing us a lot of money through pilots, and those pilots really need to be restructured, redone. I've been saying that for a long time. And a lot of them need to be eliminated going forward with certain things, because we just can't afford it. And that's what I tell everybody else. Pilots, they are great if you know how to use it, but we just don't know how to use it. We haven't used it the right way in a long time. And this is why we're broke. I just had the conversation with someone. I said, we're not poor. So don't by any means think this city is poor. Like David Chappelle said, we just broke right now, So just, I'm going to read it. I'm going to look at it, and I'm going to respond with that document. So know that I will do that. Mr. Henderson, thank you for coming and speaking to the council. I know about your program, and I know about Vertex, and I remember we've been trying to get this program into Mount Vernon for over a decade. It's been that long. So I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you spoke to everybody. And, we've been fighting for this because mental illness runs deep in Mount Vernon, and Mount Vernon needs these programs. And we kept running into roadblocks over the years for some reason that kept stopping us from having it here. You know that, I know that. But we finally made the hurdle. So I'm glad that you guys are here. I'm glad that we're working on it. We're out to reach out to work with the council, work with everybody on board, hopefully, so that we can make sure that the people that need these services get these services. Because, a lot of times people just seem to walk down the street and step over those people. But you never know who those people were once before, and you don't know what their issues are. So instead of doing that, I'm glad you guys are here to be able to come in and champion some of this load and work on the behalf of those people with mental illnesses. So thank you for that. Miss Lighting, when it comes to Memorial Field and what's going on with these parties, I understand clearly. I've written letters and I have not gotten any response from the administration or anyone. The only call I've gotten was from the controller, who's asking about the same question, asking about the same things, because he's making sure that they categorize based on the letters that I sent. I need to know who's vetting these. I need to know where's the money going. I need to know how the pay structure is happening. I need to know if the police are being paid, how it's budgeting. I need to see the contracts. I sent a second letter on Monday, still crickets from this administration when it comes to understanding what is going on with these parties. Yes, people are saying that they are making money. I've spoke to promoters recently, and the prices vary, you know, and I understand it might be by people. Some is paying 10,000, some's paying 20,000, 25,000, 12,000, 4,000. I heard all kind of numbers. But some of the parties seem to be the same. And what is the cost of somebody flipping their car in front of your house? Because the police have to come out, the ambulance have to come out, the fire department usually comes out, sometimes have to cut them out, but in that case, they crawled out. So I hope they was closed when they crawled out too. But still, with all that's going on with those parties, we really need to reel these things in. I am hosting Jamaican Independence Party on the 6th of August. And purposely, I made sure I did not do it in Brush Park. We are doing it in Lot 11 because it's a family type oriented type of program. And we will do it the right way and make sure that it's done right. And I put it there because I don't want to disturb any homeowners. There is no homes over there. So, and we have a respectful time to finish by 7 o'clock, which will start to wind down by 6 o'clock, so we don't disturb the people. These things have to come into consideration because there is such a thing called quality of life. And like you said, your mother moved up here for a better life. I remember when my parents moved up here 41 years ago. 41 years ago. And I begged them to move up here because I wanted to live where the rich people live. Because I grew up in the Bronx. And no disrespect, I grew up in Little Italy, which I'm fine with. Predominantly Italian community. But when I came here, I saw a lot of other people that looked like me that I wanted to be around. So it kind of pushed me to be here. And this today is not the Mount Vernon I came here for. It has changed dramatically. It's sad, and we need to focus on things because not all money is good money. And we can't continue to operate with this poor mentality. As we are focusing and putting our attention and putting out all of our, everything that we do now is in the space of scarcity instead of abundance. And this is why we don't move forward, because we keep on thinking that, oh, I get that $5,000. But you know what? It costs more with the police and the firefighters and DPW and people pissing on your lawn and between their house and all kind of stuff. It is insane what's going on, and it has to change. Regarding, turn over here, son. Wilma, I saw the video, also what's going on, and it's a shame. But still in all, what's happening in this city is a overall reflection of the same with Memorial Field, the same with Brush Park, the same with everything. We have become so divided in this community. It is now that side against this side, north side against south side. There is only one side, there's only Mount Vernon. And people need to get that. And we need to work together and we need to come together as one community. I get into arguments sometimes with my wife as far as a couple of months ago, because we were out and we was having a conversation and the people were like, so where do you live? And my wife was like, Fleetwood. And I was like, oh, Mount Vernon. And they were like, oh, Mount Vernon. So she was upset with me because she likes to say Fleetwood, but Fleetwood's in Mount Vernon. If you're going to claim it all and be a part of it, because we're one community and we need to get that. And I don't care if you live in, you want to call it the Heights or Mount Vernon Heights, or I'm on Hilltop, or I'm in the Fleetwood, or I'm in this. We are Mount Vernonites, one community, and we need to start working and acting like that. And, you know, I'm not going to speak on it. Everybody knows what happened. They saw it. They make their own conclusions. I'm not going to judge anything because I don't know what the temperament or the demeanor was from either side at that time. I think both sides were, you know, operating probably in some kind of fashion that one didn't like the other. So I can't really comment to say that anybody is good or bad because I didn't speak to anybody and I don't know the full situation. Sometimes we see things on Facebook and the media, and it may look one way, but it will absolutely be something else. So I wouldn't judge on anything until I have all the facts for myself. So let's just hope that we could all do better and be better and treat each other much better and with respect. We don't have to like each other, but we should be able to respect each other. That's what that comes down to. Mr. McDowell, yeah, we spoke about the whole thing. The taxi cab legislation is on tonight. I'm prepared to vote on it. We vetted it again. We went through the police department, taxi cab committee, commission, and the council. Everybody went through this because I understand what the problem is. My goal with the taxi cab commission is and the taxi cabs is to work on that and change it because our industry needs to be better. Cabs should not be pulling up the way that they look. We change that as well. So those people coming out with their 25-year-old car, 20 years, that's going to stop. Okay, we'll have advertising on top of cars. We'll have new taxi cabs. We'll have a better service, better community. Nobody's coming in. The taxi cab won't smell like weed. It won't come in. You won't have ripped up seats and all that. There will be standards now because Mount Vernon people deserve better. We don't need to wonder why other communities have all these things that we can have. We just need to say, hey, let's go and get it because we lower our standards, like I said, and we should not. When I moved here 41 years ago, Mount Vernon was the prime of Westchester. It was the head. I don't know how we become the tail right now, but we are going to change that. But we're going to have to do it together. And it's one step at a time. I know this is 3 pieces of legislation, but you start from here and we move on to the next. And we tied it into the state laws with the new changes and all for the Second Chance program, because you should have the right. They should not be holding something that happened to you when you were 16 years old and got in trouble. And 40 years later, they are still holding that against you. So you cannot buy a taxi cab or operate one. Well, everybody needs to make a living. And I always go back to something important Ernie Davis said that I learned from him. He said, if you don't put people to work and they can't make a living, then they're going to resort to stealing and robbing. And the stuff that they take just might be yours. So let's get people to work. Let's get people to be taxpayers. Let's lift up the community, make everybody happy because there is enough for everyone. And once again, we need to move ourselves from scarcity into abundance as a people. And that is the goal. We need to focus on making sure that people are working, because if we could generate more work, it generates more tax revenue, generates a lot of things like that, generates a lot of business. And maybe we could stop depending on the homeowners to pay all the bills because it's killing everybody. I know how everybody feels because I watch my mortgage go up every single year. So these are the things we have to do. And I know you want that cab so you could pay your mortgage because you want to buy a house. I know where you're going, and congratulations. I hope you go back, apply, and this works and it helps you out and everybody else. As far as Mount Vernon reform, I don't have a lot of the details on that, so I'm not going to be able to speak on that because I can't speak on that intelligent. But there is a letter supposedly that you guys say you want. I'm sure that the council body will get that letter out, whatever that letter seems to be. When it comes to Mount Vernon reform and those initiatives. Because like you said, government is for the people, by the people. I agree with that. And everybody should be heard. So that's something that, and just to answer just Ms. Justino's question, about an attorney, they had to hire attorney. I'm happy that they did because this way we can now have somebody who can answer our questions because there are questions probably. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry, y'all okay? If y'all need to converse, y'all can step into the hallway, please, while the people are responding. Also, we're gonna
At the
have our
break,
next.
I will speak to you.
Yeah. We're gonna have, Box Hill, speak next. But right before you go, just so you know, the clerk did review the petitions. At this time, we're not taking any more questions from the audience. I'm sorry, but we will take a break afterwards. And if you need to speak, we'll speak. You can't hear? Okay. No problem. The clerk did review the petitions and the petitions had deficiencies. So because of those deficiencies, it won't be on the agenda tonight. With that being said, Box Hill is up next.
All right. Thank you, President Thompson. Good evening, everyone. Councilman Javon Boxill, and I'll try to go in somewhat order. Mr. Paul Henderson, so thank you for coming out. Excuse me.
I'm sorry, you're having a response from the council persons. We will take a break afterwards, but please respect the response from the council
Thank you, Mr.
persons. Thank you.
Henderson. I wasn't aware of your program, but mental health is a serious issue in not just our community, but nationwide. And you talked about working with the police department. My wife is a police officer, and I can tell you that the vast majority of the people that make encounters with the police are suffering from some degree of mental health issues. So any type of help with that would be welcome, I believe. Miss Wilma Frank, I too saw the video, and I too was as disgusted as you were. I think that has no place in our community, and we call a spade, you know. The older person in the video was clearly not the mature person in the video, right? The language that he was using, the type of attacks he was, and the young man kept his cool, and I was proud of him. But and I, as a matter of fact, now we've gone over this a lot, but since you brought it up, this is very sensitive to me. When you talking about, and I'll call him, he said, "I'm going to call the police, and when they come, who do you think they're going to believe, me or you?" Weaponizing the police against our young people is something that should not, has no place in our community, and I find it to be very disgusting. So I'm not sure what happened after that, if they made amends, if he apologized, or what he's doing to, but what happened was wrong. Simple. So.
Excuse me, there's no
I'm
back
gonna
and
move- I'm
forth
gonna
while the
move on.
council persons are responding. So please let the council persons, excuse me. There's no response from the, if you cannot comply with the rules of the council chambers, I will ask you to leave. Please, at this moment, we're having a response from our council persons. Please be respectful, just as they were respectful to each speaker. Please respect their time as well. Thank you so much.
Mr. McDonald, the stop sign issue, it's something that actually we met, Caitlin and I, Councilwoman Gleason and I met with the deputy chief just recently about the issue in a different neighborhood, but it's something that the police department is on notice about, and they're actively combating those quality of life issues. And the taxi cab legislation is on tonight. I'm also in support of that. No, I'm gonna just address all the charter review, the charter commission folks. Yeah, I know you guys feel very passionately about it. I did receive the letter as well. The petitions come into the clerk's office. The clerk vets it, and she sent a recommendation to us, basically saying that there were deficiencies and that it was not ready to go on the agenda. So there's no action to be taken by the council at this point. Who else?
Once again, there's no back and forth from out there. This is just response from the council. There will be a break afterwards, so if you need to converse with council persons, then you have the allotted time. Please respect the council persons. Thank you.
Ms. Lightsey, thank you.
Mr. Justino, please. And that's it, it is, right? We gave your wife her time. We gave everyone who wanted to speak their time. And now it's the council's time to respond. You know the protocol. Ms. Justino was also an appointed council person at the time. She knows the protocol. Thank you. Go ahead.
Ms. Lightsey, thank you for always being a pillar in our community, educating our children. Your place here is always special, but I'm sorry that you experienced that in front of your house. That's definitely a serious enforcement issue, and yeah, we definitely have to address that. And as a matter of fact, I also met with the mayor. I met with the Commissioner of Recreation, and after speaking with the communities, Kingsbridge, as well as the folks in your neighborhood. And yes, there's definitely, we want to make some changes going forward as far as what we present as entertainment for our city. So yeah, I think we're all on board with what our reputation looks like and what we want it to look like. So I think you make excellent points when it's referring to that. Mr. Rivers, I'm not certain of all of the stuff that you mentioned. I'm going to go through this document. I can speak for myself. I'm an honest person, and I wasn't elected by any developer. I was voted in by the people, and I'm going to continue to do what's best for the city to the best of my ability. And that's all I can promise Mount Vernon, right? So I think Mr. Monroe, thank you again for coming. I think you're right. I have great faith in your abilities to lead the charge when it comes to this. I'm not the expert on the multimedia system, but I would love for you to have more engagement and let us know what your recommendations are, because I'm more than receptive. And like Councilman Wallace said, if you want to join the committee, we'll welcome you back. So thank you. And those are all my comments for tonight. Thanks.
Thank you, Box Hill. Now we'll hear from Gleason.
Good evening, everybody. I'm going to jump around a little bit. One thing I wanted to say was, Lance, thank you so much for coming again and being engaged. One of the things I wanted to let you know is I've already alerted the acting chief of the police department with those locations, basically Union Avenue, Franklin Avenue, and Jackson and Fulton Avenue, to put it on a special attention. Okay, I haven't heard back from him, but at least he's got it, and that's a step in the right direction. David Reich, thank you so much, and the Mount Vernon Reform Committee. I appreciate your passion for being here tonight. I think Council President has addressed that, and also Councilman Box Hill. Mr. Henderson, I think your program is definitely necessary. I, for one, would like to have a meeting with you and to see how I can connect you with the wellness unit here in with the Mount Vernon Police Department. Our Deputy Commissioner Jennifer Lackard heads that department, and I think a partnership between you and the Mount Vernon Police Department's wellness unit would be very beneficial to the city of Mount Vernon. Mrs. Frank, always great to see you here. You know, I think you're here at almost every meeting, and when you're not here, I have to call, you know, to find out where you are, especially when you put your name on the list and then don't show. Yeah, I mean, I think that was disturbing for everybody in the city of Mount Vernon. I think that passions run high sometimes, and I think it's really important, especially when we're dealing with younger adults, that we should have some emotional intelligence, right? I do hope, like what Councilman Box Hill said, that at some point the young man and the resident could get together and kind of understand each other better, but I was not happy with that video. It was very disturbing to me also, especially when the kids are getting involved in, the democratic process, even though it was a school district. Okay, it's still the democratic process. It doesn't really matter who paid them. It doesn't really matter why they got involved, but they were out there because any kids could say, no, I'm not going to pass out flyers, right? But they felt it important to get involved. This is a young man that has gotten involved prior. So, that was just disturbing to me. Tamara Stewart, thank you so much for being here. You're very involved in the city of Mount Vernon. We appreciate your involvement. Sam Rivers. Oh, Sam. Okay. So one thing that you said was a very damning statement. Okay? And maybe I misunderstood it. I'm not sure, but you said that we voted for Kenneth Plummer to get a $20 million development fee. That's simply not true. Okay? No city money has ever been given to Kenneth Plummer. Okay? No $20 million. I'm not going to let you stand here and try and discredit somebody's reputation like that when it's untrue. Okay? I will tell you.
Mr. Rose,
If
please.
you don't like him and you don't like what he does, that's great. Take it up with him. But the city council, this city council, the prior city council, never voted on a $20 million development fee. Okay? As you refer to the YMCA, Mr. Church has changed different investors. That has nothing to do with the city of Mount Vernon, the city council. We do not vote on pilots. Money laundering, I'll read through this, but based on what you said tonight, I feel like that was garbage. We're not going to vote to send anything to the U.S. Attorney. If you want to send it to the U.S. Attorney, by all means, do it. Mr. Monroe, we are actively working on the Cable Advisory Committee. The reason why Mr. Lafayette was reappointed, he's reappointed as a city council appointee, just re-upping his prior status on the committee. There is only one seat available on the Cable Advisory Committee. If you would like to apply, I invite you to apply, but I have not seen an application from you since you weren't reapproved for your reappointment, so I apologize for that. If I missed it, if the clerk had it, I did not see it, okay? But I invite you to reapply for it. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I think that, oh, Miss Lightsey. Yes, you actually texted me the night of what was happening by your house, and it's just unacceptable, right? So I think that there has to be better vetting as to what we're going to allow here in the city of Mount Vernon. I do welcome cultural events. I think that they're great for our city, especially when kids, young adults are participating in it. As it pertains to alcohol, whether we sell it or they bring it, they're still doing it, right? Whether it's right or wrong, they should not be driving. When we have events like this, should we have more police officers on the street watching what's going on? I will look into that when it comes to those applications. I too would like to see some applications before they're approved by Recreation to make sure that we have the manpower to control and make sure that the applicants who are required to have security at these venues, that they are properly staffed. But again, I invite quality cultural events here in the city of Mount Vernon. And that's all I have to say. Thank you so much. I appreciate everybody taking the time out to be here and to voice your opinion. Thank you.
Thank you. Tranquil Jones?
Good evening, everyone. I appreciate you being here as members of Mount Vernon. Your grit and tenacity is noted. Paul Henderson, I'm really excited about hearing and seeing what is in place. As everyone know, we are in a mental health crisis right now. And I would also like to hear about how it will lend to our children who attend this Mount Vernon City School District. Our children during COVID experienced something that they never experienced before, and it lays over. A lot of times when it comes to mental health, we look at it when it comes to the adult, and we don't see what happens when that crisis or that trauma takes place when they are younger. So I would like, I'm excited about that when that happens. Is the brother still here? Where is he? All right, there you go. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Wilma Frank, thank you for your comment. I appreciate you being here. I just want people to know that, you know, I understand by looking at a video that sometimes some things look obtuse, some things look a certain way. You don't know the ages of individuals, but some people, when they see certain things, it erects something inside of them, which is a traumatic stress disorder. As a mother of 2 boys, I have had to have uncomfortable conversations with them for when they approach or when they do approach, right? And so we know that when it is a Black boy in particular, that the candle is burning on both ends. I'm sorry if you think that is funny, but with what is going on in our society right now, sometimes erect some things in us. I am not saying that I know exactly what happened in the video. I am not saying I am yay or nay in the video, but I am saying what happens sometimes in what we see, what we don't know that we see, that it will erect some kind of trauma in some individuals, right? So in the meantime, in between time, we have to understand that what you said, we the people, that's number one. The other thing that Andre Wallace said was, united we stand, divided we fall. So we have to make sure that we are on point and we are on top when we see things, not to just ignore it, but to become as one and have conversations. So if those 2 people can come together and have a conversation, it will help. Thank you, Wilma. Lance McDowell, thank you for coming back. And thank you for also noting again what is happening here on the streets of Mount Vernon when it comes to our traffic. It's been on our radar. During the storm, I was by, I forgot what school I was by, but I had conversations with parents, and we were talking about the running of the stop sign and the constant running of the stop sign, especially by a school. So that means that we have a culture that's going on right now in Mount Vernon by Mount Vernonites, right? This is not from somebody outside of our neighborhood, where we are not adhering to pedestrians, and so pedestrian safety is on our radar. So I appreciate you bringing that up. Francis Lacey, how are you today? What Francis is talking about is she is talking about a culture and climate crisis that we are having in the aspects of individuals that are attending parties. And the parties that are taking place here in Mount Vernon needs to be discussed. So I've had conversations with several people. I've had conversations with our commissioner, and we talked about safety also. Because one of the things that haven't been brought up is the safety and the respect of those who are coming to the party, especially our Black girls, right? Because a lot of these parties are Juve and Carnival and Junkanoo and things of that nature. And when they dress a certain way during Carnival, they dress a certain way. However, we've seen the dressing, we've seen how they've been looking, and it doesn't represent culture. I am Belizean Bahamian, and I've been a part of Carnival. I've been a part of Juve. I've been a part of Junkanoo, but we don't dress like that. Right? And so we have to look at the integrity of those who are bringing parties to Mount Vernon. And it is important that we have that understanding, right? Where we are not saying, go back to where you came from. That right there is another trigger for individuals where you tell people to go back to where you came from, and that's been stated a couple of times, right? But what we do is we make sure that they respect when they come to Mount Vernon. We make sure that the promoters that do come to Mount Vernon, that they are respectful and that they make sure that they set the tone. So their flyers shouldn't look a certain way, right? In order for their flyers to get approved, it has to get approved before the commission. And if your flyer don't look right, it's not going up and you're not promoting it. So thank you, Ms. Lightsey, for that. And I also live near, I live in between Memorial Field and Brush Park. And so I know exactly what you're talking about. But I just want to tell you this, that when you see something, say something, call 911. Call them up. Don't have a problem with doing that. Thank you. Sam Rivers, thank you for being a part of Mount Vernon. Appreciate you taking time out to put together a document. I will take time out to read it. I am not sure about the plethora of pilots that you talk about. I did a little research in the aspects of that. But I also appreciate your wording in the aspects of us having, of the people of Mount Vernon having confidence in the council. And so I'll make sure that I'll be a part of that. Jeff Monroe. So I've been looking at Jeff Monroe while all of us have been answering Jeff Monroe. And so Jeff Monroe, I don't know what to say to you, brother, because you have been fighting the fight with all your might. And either they hear you or they don't hear you. And communication is one of the things that we need in Mount Vernon. Does everybody agree? Yes. And so I cannot wait to be a part of you being a part of the community access media. And I know that you've done this over and over again. And I am hoping that you will not be the definition of insanity. Thank you, brother. Mount Vernon Reform. Let me see. We have Tamara, Marlene, Eileen, David. I think I named everyone. I know that Eileen needs some clarification on the steps. I know that because I've seen her continually raising her hand over and over again. David, thank you for the numbers that you've given, the 1,800 signatures that were received, the 500 people that you have been speaking to. I appreciate that. Marlene, thank you for pointing out that there's a persistent flaw that is taking place here in Mount Vernon. Also, I think Tamara, thank you for being a part of the initiative and wanting the strengthening of Mount Vernon. Thank you.
Thank you, Tempest Jones. So I'd like to thank everyone for coming in and bringing their concerns and ideas. I gave the excerpt about the reform. We'll speak more about that. When it comes to pilots, as I always state, pilots are not given by city council members. City council members never vote to give a pilot to anyone. So it's very important that our residents understand whenever a pilot is given, city council does not vote on pilots. That comes from the IDA, which is the Industrial Development Agency. It does not come through city council for any types of pilots for any type of business and residential areas, just so everyone has that for clarity. Once again, as Gleason stated, city council has never voted to give anyone money for any developer's project, especially $20 million. But that needs to have more conversations as well, because we need to make sure that we're speaking with clarity and giving people information that is factual opposed to how we feel. It's best that we always operate off of facts. That's why I like to, I'm gonna read through this whole thing, so thank you, Mr. Rivers, for supplying us with this. I will read through the whole thing to see exactly what it's about. It's important that as a community, we get away from being disagreeable, right? And it's okay for us to disagree. No one should want to be around anyone who always just agrees with you all the time. It's annoying and it's not right just to surround yourself with people who don't challenge you and they always agree with you. But it's important to understand what a functioning government looks like. When you see a functioning government where you don't have city council, the mayor, and the comptroller wasting tax dollars in and out of the courtroom for unnecessary things, and they're actually bringing things to the table to get things done legally and following protocol, that's a functioning government. That's not a rubber stamp. That's listening to the community and working on the best half of the community, because I don't have to like you and you don't have to like me, but our common ground should always be what's best for the city of Mount Vernon, because we all have to live here. Whether you live on the north side, east side, west side, or south side, we all live in the city of Mount Vernon. Regardless of what the sector says, this is the city of Mount Vernon, and we have to continue to work together to make sure that our city is the best that it can be. Yes, you have two types of people. And everyone is not always going to agree, but you have people who look for progress, and you have those who look for propaganda. And you have those who really want the city of Mount Vernon to thrive. And then you have those people who you can lay facts in their lap and they'll find some way to turn it just to make sure that the residents get misinformation, because misinformation is spread faster than facts. And we have to get away from that. We have an opportunity to make Mount Vernon the utopia that it should be, that reflects all of us, because we are not all just one people. This is a melting pot. Mount Vernon has different ethnic backgrounds, it has different languages, and Mount Vernon needs to continue to reflect each and every one of us. Not a single group of people, but everyone. So our common ground should be what's best for the entire city of Mount Vernon. So I'm just hopeful that as we continue to work together, we get away from tearing each other down, whether it's on social media with the name calling and the disrespect. And I know that all of us were raised better than that. And because we expect our children to behave a different way, how dare we conduct ourselves in the way that we don't want to see our children conduct themselves? And people hear the song, but they really live up to starting with the man in the mirror. Because if you really want change, it starts at home with yourself first. And if you're not willing to change yourself, don't change anyone else. You have to change some things within yourself. And no one is perfect. We should never look for anyone to be perfect, but we should look to be productive. No one on this council is perfect. No one who works for the city is perfect. No one sitting out there is perfect. But as human beings, we should always look to be productive. Still have a lot of work to do in our community. There is more good than there is bad in this community. We've had several miles of road, more than 100 miles of road. Yes, this is 4.4 square miles, but when you look at all the roads, it adds up to a lot of mileage. The roads are getting paved. And yes, we had a disastrous winter this year. And you know, with the 4 seasons that we get in New York, this is not California. So once you pave your roads, the winter and the salt and everything else, you may have to repave those roads. But with that being said, you work along, the city is working along with Con Edison. So when any road is open, Con Edison can do whatever portion of work they have to do on the road, and then DPW does their portion that they have to do on the road. The water department does their portion that they have to do on the road, and then it gets paid from curb to curb. That's why it looks lower than what it is. But you don't want to continue to waste taxpayer dollars on doing something over and over again. Opening and closing the road costs a lot of money. So when you open the roads, you want to make sure that they're done properly and closed properly as well, so we get the best use of our dollars. I know there's been some parties, there's some great parties that happen in Mount Vernon, and there are some parties with people who attend who are questionable. Not always the party, but some people that go with the intent on respecting the communities in which they visit. And we have to hold those individuals accountable. And we plan to continue to do that as well. But like I said, there is more good going on in Mount Vernon than there is bad. And it's time that we continue to highlight the good that's going on in Mount Vernon and stop dwelling on things that happened in the past. And we are moving forward as a community, and we can continue to move forward as a community as long as we continue to work together and do the very best that we can. I will say for Mr. Monroe, at your time for your actual extension to be rectified through the council, I did vote against you, being reappointed for an extension. I did vote against that. You are a wealth of knowledge when it comes to communication, and I've told you that before. But at that time, what was presented and what was necessary at that time, it was necessary for my vote the way it was. And do I stand by my vote? Absolutely. I stand by everything I do. I operate off of facts, and I have conversations, and I don't shy away from anything. Do I think that you should submit your application again? Absolutely, because you know a lot. But it's important that we continue to work together, and it's okay to disagree. But don't become disagreeable and create an atmosphere that may become hostile when it's not necessary, when we could just have conversations. And it's important, yes, to have disagreements, to have conversations so you can come to a conclusion on what's best for the city of Mount Vernon. Derek Thompson may want things, but Derek Thompson don't vote on things just for Derek Thompson. Derek Thompson votes on things that are going to be beneficial to the city of Mount Vernon as a whole. So I can't operate on what Derek wants alone. I have to speak to my residents and speak to those district leaders and see what the residents want to come to a conclusion on what's best for the city and not just for me as an individual. So I hope that helped everyone. We're going to take a 5-minute break so the council persons can use the bathroom and also converse with our constituents and get some further resolve. So thank you all so much for your input, and we look to the continued talks with everyone going forward. Thank you. 5-minute break. So thank you. Thank you, Mount Vernon. We had a break. It went a little over because we did want to speak to our residents and make sure they got some answers. We're gonna go right back into our meeting. We're gonna have our tally sheet. Our tally sheet is always done the Monday before our meeting, and this determines what's gonna make the agenda or not. I is for information, A is for agenda, AP is for agenda pending, C is for called for, and H is for held. With that being said, we're gonna go into legislation and public works. Lisa?
Thank you, Council President. Legislation and Public Works. Department of Public Works, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of 2027, again, that has to, I don't even know if that has to be edited, but 2027 Peterbilt 548 sanitation vehicles equipped with 25-yard loadmaster bodies through the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Program and authorizing the use of expenditure of capital funds subject to reimbursement through the New York State CHIPS program. That is on the agenda. Item number 2, City Council, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Mount Vernon appointing Jahi Lafayette, reappointing Jahi Lafayette to the Cable Television Advisory Committee for a 2-year term effective July 8th, 2026 to July 7th, 2028. It's on the agenda. That is all I have.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for legislation and public works? Moving right along, human resources.
Item number
Trustee
3,
Mhm.
Department of Recreation and Ordinance authorizing the City of Mount Vernon to apply and hold on-premises liquor license for the stadium at Memorial Field, authorizing retention of the licensing consultant and authorizing the execution of all necessary documents related thereto. That is on the agenda. Item number 4, Youth Bureau, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Family Services of Westchester, FSW, as lead agency project RISE funding in the amount of $103,161.19 for the Mount Vernon Youth Bureau. That is on the agenda. Item number 5, Youth Bureau, an ordinance of the City of Mount Vernon, New York, authorizing the consolidation and transfer of the executive assistant position within the Youth Bureau, creating the title of Assistant Director, approving the necessary budget transfers, and amending the fiscal year 2026 salary schedule. That is on the agenda. Item number 6, Youth Bureau, an ordinance authorizing a budget transfer within the Youth Bureau to support the 2026 Summer Safe Haven Program, July 6, 2026 to August 21st, 2026. That is on the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for human resources? No, moving right along. Public safety and code, Wallace.
Thank you. Departments of Buildings, I have an ordinance authorizing a budget transfer to fund the emergency demolition of an unsafe and dangerous structure located at 230 South Second Avenue, Mount Vernon, New York, and that is on the agenda. Number 8 is Consumer Protection, June 2026 monthly report. That is for information. Number 9, City Council, an ordinance amending Chapter 237 of the Code of the City of Mount Vernon entitled Taxi Cabs to conform taxi cab drivers and taxi cab licensing requirements with New York Corrections Law, Article 23-A and Criminal Procedure Law 160.57, and to establish an administrative appeal process for license determinations. That is on the agenda. City Council ordinance amending Chapter 237 taxi cabs of the Code of the City of Mount Vernon to promote public safety by establishing new regulations for registered Class A taxi cab operating within the city of Mount Vernon. That is on the agenda, and I believe I have an add-on, which is an ordinance amending chapter 237 of the Code of the City of Mount Vernon entitled Taxi Cabs to add a new section regarding taxi top advertisement, which is the advertising on top of cabs for the city of Mount Vernon. And that is on the agenda as well.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for, go ahead, Lisa.
Okay, I saw that Francine Rosado responded in support, but I did see that the acting police commissioner had mentioned something about clarity on, I don't know if it was 9 or 10, but on
Talking about
clarity,
10?
whether this was rolling forward, retroactive. Can you speak on that, Greg?
Absolutely, Councilwoman. So yeah, it was number 10 on the tally sheet. Oh wait, actually, sorry, it was number 9 actually. And that is a prospective and not retroactive ordinance that that was drafted. I believe that the commissioner was thinking that based on the date that the Clean Slate Act was passed, that we would have to go back and like kind of count the years since the conviction, or whether it was misdemeanor or a felony was rendered. But we're not going to do that. We're going forward from the date that this is signed by the mayor.
Okay, do we have to add anything into the legislation that can make that more clear or no?
No, it's
Should it say, I'm trying to pull it up now, but should it say pending, hold on one sec.
I believe it says pending.
I'll take effect immediately upon adoption by the city council and filing as required by law. I think right there in the effective date, this ordinance shall take effect immediately upon adoption by the city council. Can we word it and, going forward from, July 8th, 2026?
Okay.
So we can have that date, can we put that in there? So, because I don't want any issues of, trying to backtrack anything. If we have a date actually solidified on the document itself, it sort of puts it in the clear so you don't have to go, back and forth.
Let me ask
So
you a
it's
que-
just in the approval from the council on today's date. Wallace?
Let me ask you a question.
That makes
If it's, or it should already be there, because if it's effective upon signing, the date that is there that it's signed would be the
Correct.
effective date. So I don't
Correct,
think
but
they would
just
have.
having it there for the visual, because it gets stamped in on the date that we signed it, so that stamp is there. But if you can actually see the date visually upon the effective date, just to make sure that it's solidified for the common reader.
All right, they can
Because-
write it in and
Added
just
effect.
initial it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's no
because
big
as for us working for government, we know to look for the timestamps and everything else to know that solidifies the date. But I just want to make it clear for all readers, residents who are reading it. Just, that's just prevents any questions coming forward. But everything else looks good. Do we have any other questions for public safety and code? No? Okay, moving right along. Finance and planning, Box Hill.
Thank you, President Thompson. Number 11, from the Department of Assessment, an ordinance authorizing the attendance of senior assessment clerk at the 2026 Cornell Conference and authorizing related expenditures. That's July 19th through July 24, 2026. That is going to be on the agenda Number 12, from the Real Estate Committee, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to convey city-owned property located at 52 Mercer Row Avenue, Mount Vernon, New York, to Reginald Lowe Jr. for the purchase price of $410,000. That is on the agenda. Number 13, at the request of the controller, we're going to hold that item on the floor. I'm going to read it. It's a local law authorizing the amendment of Chapter 267 zoning of the Code of the City of Mount Vernon to establish an affordable housing set-aside program.
Call for it. I think.
You said you're holding
I
that
think
on the
it's-
floor?
I think it's called for it because it's gonna come, it wants to come back. The
You wanted
controller-
to come back on the next meeting?
Correct.
So you're gonna call for it? If you want to come back on the August meeting, we're gonna call for it, but if you don't want it to come back at all, you wanna hold
Yeah, we're
it?
going to call for it then.
Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate you, Wallace.
Thank you.
All right, and I do have an add-on.
It's already on the agenda. Hold on.
You waiting on me or should I go ahead? All right, I'm gonna go ahead.
Hold on a second, I'm sorry. You actually would have to hold that one. Because it's, y'all voted on it on Monday, right? I mean, you put it on Monday?
We did.
Yeah. So hold it and then it'll just come, hold it on the floor and then it'll come back.
Corp Counsel?
Yeah. This was number 13. So they already put it on the agenda, and they want to call for it, but you can hold it and then the clerk's office will just put it on the, they'll
Because
put it on for the, August meeting. We have one meeting in August.
the comptroller had a question or something about it, so they're gonna hold it so he could have his question answered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he specifically
Just
requested
hold it.
to hold it until we discuss it.
Yeah, so hold it and then they'll just present it the same way for it to go into the August. Because it was.
professional.
Am I saying hold or call
Yeah,
for?
you're gonna
Hold?
say hold for
All right.
13.
Holding on the floor, number 13.
Thank you, I'm sorry.
All right, number 14, the add-on. From the Department of Planning and Community Development, an ordinance authorizing the city of Mount Vernon to apply for funding under the New York Main Street Program, authorizing the mayor to execute all documents necessary to submit the application and authorizing the implementation of the program upon award of grant funds. That's gonna be on the agenda.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for finance and planning? No? Okay, moving forward.
Yeah.
Hold on one sec.
It doesn't matter. Is that for?
That was number 12. Okay, yeah. So can we have a roll call going into, our agenda?
Definitely. Councilmember Box Hill,
Present?
Councilmember Gleason,
Here?
Councilmember Turnquest Jones,
Present.
Councilmember Wallace,
Present.
Council President Thompson.
Here, thank you. We're gonna go into legislation and public works. Gleason?
Thank you. Item number 1, Department of Public Works, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of two 2027 Peterbilt 548 sanitation vehicles equipped with 25-yard load master bodies through the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Program and authorizing the use of expenditure of capital funds subject to reimbursement through the New York State CHIPS program. So moved.
Second?
On the question? Hearing none, roll call?
Councilmember Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilmember Gleason,
Aye?
Councilmember Turnquest Jones,
Aye.
Councilmember Wallace,
Aye.
Council President Thompson.
Aye.
Item number 2, City Council, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Mount Vernon appointing Jahi Lafayette to the Cable Television Advisory Committee for a 2-year term effective July 8th, 2026 to July 7th, 2028. So moved.
Second?
On the question? Hearing none, roll call?
Councilmember Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilmember Gleason, Councilmember Turnquest Jones,
Aye.
Councilmember Wallace,
Aye.
Council President Thompson.
Aye. Thank you. Human Resources, Turnquest Jones?
Item number 3, Department of Recreation, an ordinance authorizing the city of Mount Vernon to apply and hold on premises liquor license for the stadium at Memorial Field, authorizing retention of a licensing consultant and authorizing the execution of all necessary documents related thereto. So moved.
Second?
On the question?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead, Wallace.
Well, you guys already know I'm a no on this particular one, but I just wanted to say it as I don't vote on this. But I do have questions. Why are we doing a liquor license instead of just, I know it says liquor license, but it's supposed to be a sports and beer license I was looking into. And then another thing, that's just so that it sells beer there. But my concern is, why are we not hiring outside, putting out RFP, request for proposals, for a vending company to vendors to handle that particular thing, like all other sports arenas. So this way we get away from any kind of liability that has to happen with the city and all. Usually most people have a vendor's company that handles the beer and alcohol and stadiums and sports events and all of that. Why are we not just, my question was, why are we not doing that or focusing on something like that, where we can put it out, make the money? Because I agree 100%. We should be able to sell beer at the soccer games and all of that in Memorial Field. It should be done.
I was just going to ask you that. If
That's
that's the part you're objecting to.
Oh, no, I
Okay.
agree with that 100%. But I just believe we need to do it the proper way. And usually the proper way to do it is by hiring or taking an RFP for requests for proposals, so that we could get somebody here who operates that vending license, that they'll pull their own day license, they'll pull all this other stuff, and they'll do it that way. So we're just not involved with that completely, because the city just is not good at running things like that. Or, but it's something I would like to look into a lot more. But that's all my questions. So
Any other, Gleason?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say that Rick Wright explained it the other night, that it's actually the location that needs to have it. I think the step that you're talking about will come after we get the liquor license for the location. The liquor license does not travel with somebody. It's per location. So I
No, I
just wanted to
understand that.
clarify that.
yeah, I understand
Okay,
that clearly.
no problem.
Right, and the way the SLA works, that's the State Liquor Authority. The way that works is, you either have your liquor license and or you apply for a day pass. And sometimes the day pass gets approved, sometimes it doesn't. Do I support Mount Vernon having its own liquor license at Memorial Field? Absolutely. When you have your rugby games and you have other events at Memorial Field that they do serve beer and or wine, you have vendors come in and they pay a small portion to be able to be a vendor, and they get the maximum amount of money that comes into the bottom line for their event. But if that actually, we had the possibility of having that license for the city, then those funds hit the bottom line for Mount Vernon, which you can utilize. And everyone knows that every event, all of the funds that come from every event in the city of Mount Vernon hits the bottom line of Mount Vernon's fund. So, and it's not just to say that the funds that come in can only be specifically for Memorial Field or specifically for Brush Park or specifically for Hartley Park. That money is utilized for whatever the needs of the city are. So just for clarification of that. So I do support this legislation. Do we have any
And
other?
I just had one other question. So
Yes, anything else on the question? Go ahead.
Yeah, with the name of it, when I looked it up and did some research, it's called the Ballpark Stadium Beer License. But we got it titled as liquor license. So do we want to put the proper title for it at least, so that people understand that it's a beer license, because that's the name of it?
There
In
are,
order-
right, there are two different licenses you can get from the SLA. And those two different licenses are, one, you can get the beer and wine license only, which is cheaper. And you can only serve beer and wine. But then there's another license that you can get, which is a little steeper, which you can actually serve alcohol.
So
And-
I thought that we're gonna be clear that we're just doing beer. So the other one would be the liquor one that is more stringent, I mean, like more expansive for what you can sell. So I thought we're just gonna stick to selling the beer, and I don't have a problem with wine also. But if we're gonna do hard liquor in that place, that needs to be with another vendor or something like that. Who holds that vendor's license? But I get what you're saying. But I think at least we should title it the right one for transparency, instead of saying it's an alcohol one that later on we could say, okay, we have beer, that's what we're selling. But you know what? We're choosing to sell mixed drinks and all kind of other stuff as well.
It looks, as if we're applying for the full license.
Right, but if we
The
are
ask
telling,
is the full license, so
right,
you.
so if we are telling people
Mhm.
that we are just going to sell beer because that's what he said, and that's what it's about at the games, selling beer. Okay, why are we going for the full license that has all alcohol instead of just the one that sells beer?
So on Rick Wright's presentation, he said only beer?
He said only
and
beer.
wine? What was the ask?
Oh, just for clarification, Michael Smith, that represents State Liquor Association, he is the one that made the suggestions and brought to our attention on April 8th, 2026, that we have granted 12 one-day alcohol permits. That's the title of it. Already for this calendar year to Yonkers Brewing. The only path for additional alcohol consumption is a submission of a liquor license and not one-day alcohol permits. That's because the authority considered us with giving us more than 4, and they gave us 12. So all of what we are doing is a suggestion of the State Liquor Association. It's not us coming up with our own, what we want to do, but in particular, it stipulates here, when considering the issuance of a liquor license, one of our requirements for licensure is sole control. Having multiple entities sharing a liquor license is not an option. Stadiums in New York State function without issue as they hire a third party to provide the alcohol for a season, or the stadium themselves are the liquor license holders and their employees, soccer club employees, concert employees, rugby employees provide the alcohol service. That means there are only 2 paths. The stadium holds the license and hires employees to do the concessions, or they choose one entity to do the events and stadium remains the landlord only. The first part in doing such of either or is us getting the liquor licensing.
Okay, I agree with all of what she said. I understand all of that. But there are 2 different kind of license, like Council President stated. And we're saying we're going after the liquor license instead of a ballpark stadium beer license that we sell only beer, because that's what they were saying. This other license opens us up to selling all kind of liquor in the place, which is, if that's what your intentions are. But what was said was we were sticking to beer. Now, another thing I'm looking at is what she just said. So Councilwoman Jones explained that you either hold it as a landlord, which I agree with, and get a third-party vendor, and just reach out to vendors to do this, because we want to take the liability off of the taxpayers. We can be the landlord. So let the person who's the vendor have that license to be able to distribute it, to do the selling and do all of that stuff. So we don't have to get involved with that portion.
In the
of it.
verbiage, that's not how that works. In the verbiage, that's not how it works. So
How does it work?
So to what what Cynthia Turnquist, what Councilwoman Turnquist Jones just read into record, it's and to have to stop from applying for daily licenses, and she stated the number that there were 12 in a certain amount of time.
I get all of
When
it.
you don't want to have to do that, you get the license. Now, liquor license is roughly about $7,000 to purchase a liquor license, and it lasts for 2 years. When you have a stadium or an event the size of Memorial Field, you make that money back in one event.
That's right.
And the thing is, you want to make sure that you have that license on hand for any event that happens there. It's not necessarily saying that you're going to sell liquor at that particular time. But if you're just serving beer and wine, or if you have another event that's it could be a private event or whatever the case may be. But if you had an event that had any liquor beverages, so to speak, you want to make sure that you have that license on hand. So just covering the parameters, you want to make sure that you apply for that license one time, opposed to saying, all I have is beer and wine, and I can't have this event come in. Even if it's say if you for the lap, just state a name and say Bacardi. You want to have Bacardi as a promoter down there, and if they hung their banner, and if they gave away bottles, not to say that they're going to drink them there, but to even give away as a gift or a prize or something like that, you have to have a license to be able to do so. So to prevent the city from saying, I only have beer and wine, and now I have to apply for a 1-day liquor license to be able to have this event, that will put you behind the ball. So if you already have the full liquor license in effect, you can do these promotions and things of that nature without having to go back to the liquor authority like the SLA until you have to renew your license, which is 2 years.
And I get all of that. I'm saying for the state, for the sake of transparency, when we are saying that we're just going to sell beer, and then you're just saying now that we're getting a liquor license in case we want to sell liquor, is disingenuous to the public. Hold on,
Council
it will
President,
come out.
you mixed the words. Hold on. Now, what I said was if it was a giveaway, if you give it away as a package,
I get it.
you still have to have a license in order to even do a giveaway, is what I
But
said.
I'm saying to you, okay, and how I'm explaining it, I hope I'm being clear. If we're saying to the public that we're only doing beer and wine, but we're going for a liquor license that would allow us, if somebody came in and if we wanted to sell hard liquor or anything, it can be done. So what we're doing is setting up the precedence one way with the option to do it another way. And who determines whether that option will happen or not? Because we're selling, it's like, you come into the car dealership and I show you a Mercedes Benz, but then when you're ready, I said, this is all we selling here. But then when you want, but we do have Ferraris, Maseratis, and something else you could get. You understand?
That's a totally different concept, but go ahead.
It's basic. It's basic, but you're giving other options that is available to do when we're saying we're just doing this. So if we're just doing this, then it should be the Bear Park Stadium beer license and not a liquor license, because that opens up to hard drinks and whatever they want. I could understand down the road, they may say, okay, well, we may have an event that people want to sell liquor. The number one liquor consumers in all of America, you know which convention those are, right? Church conventions is the number one place that they sell liquor. Look it up. Okay. But we have plenty of churches. So you're saying if they want to hold a congressional thing in Memorial Field and sell hard liquor, is that going to be okay? Because it's the church. Are we going to say no? These are
What I stand by
ourselves to be able to say, no, this is what the license is. This is what the license says. This is what we're doing. That's for all those reasons is why I can't go with it.
Okay, as I stated, I don't indulge in alcoholic beverages. However, I do support Memorial Field having a full liquor license. That's just my stance, but everyone is entitled to have their own opinions about it and vote accordingly.
I mean, even,
Box Hill?
yeah, thank you. Before the presentation, just reading through the referral letter, I think the referral letter was clear that it's a full liquor license, based on the description. But to Councilman Wallace's point, I believe the director mentioned, about beer, and I think that was the confusion. But it was my understanding before his presentation that it was a full liquor license
Correct.
coming into the meeting.
He
That's
said
what
only
Sure.
beer. We could go back to the videotape. He said only beer and in Memorial Field. That's all we're doing because the soccer and the rugby people want beer. Only
But
beer.
then again, we can have Corporation Counsel weigh in if he'd like to, but like I said, if we have and if we have an event in Memorial Field, and you said you have an event and it's sponsored by this high-end liquor-based company, and they're donating money into the city, and they're giving away bags with bottles, and you go to events where they give away these bags with bottles and stuff like that. You cannot give away and or purchase any kind of liquor without a license. So that covers the city's portion at Memorial Field at that location. If there's any kind of giveaway or any kind of event yes, you may still have to go out for an RFP for something, but as it stands, I do support Memorial Field having a full liquor license for whatever event they have and whatever the need is for Memorial Field. Mount Vernon already has their license covered for that 2-year period. And like I said, the funds are available to get it, and you make those funds back immediately. So any other questions? No? Okay. Hearing none, roll call.
Councilmember Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilmember Gleason,
Aye.
Councilmember Turnquist Jones,
Aye.
Councilmember Wallace,
No.
Council President Thompson.
Aye.
Item number 4, Youth Bureau, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Family Services of Westchester, FSW, as lead agency, Project Rise funding in the amount of $103,161.19 for the Mount Vernon Youth Bureau. So moved.
Second?
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilmember Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilmember Gleason,
Aye.
Councilmember Turnquist Jones,
Aye.
Councilmember Wallace,
Aye.
Council President Thompson.
Aye.
Item number 5, Youth Bureau, an ordinance of the City of Mount Vernon, New York, authorizing the consolidation and transfer of the executive assistant position within the Youth Bureau, creating the title of Assistant Director, approving the necessary budget transfers, and amending the fiscal year 2026 salary schedule. So moved.
Second?
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilmember Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilmember Gleason,
Aye.
Councilmember Turnquist Jones,
Aye.
Councilmember Wallace,
Aye.
Council President Thompson.
Aye.
Item number 6, Youth Bureau, an ordinance authorizing a budget transfer within the Youth Bureau to support the 2026 Summer Safe Haven Program, July 6, 2026 to August 21st, 2026. So moved.
Second?
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilmember Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilmember Gleason,
Aye.
Councilmember Turnquist Jones,
Aye.
Councilmember Wallace,
Aye.
Council President Thompson.
Aye. Thank you, Human Resources, Public Safety and Code, Wallace.
Thank you. Number 7, Department of Buildings, an ordinance authorizing the budget transfer to fund the emergency demolition of the unsafe and dangerous structure located at 230 South Second Avenue, Mount Vernon, New York. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilmember Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilmember Gleason,
Aye.
Councilmember Turnquest Jones,
Aye.
Councilmember Wallace,
Aye.
Council President Thompson.
Aye.
City Council, an ordinance amending chapter 237 of the Code of the City of Mount Vernon entitled Taxi Cab to conform taxi cab drivers and taxi cab licensing requirements with the New York Correction Law, Article 23A, and Criminal Procedures Law 160.57, and to establish an administrative appeals process for license determinations. So move.
Second.
On the question?
Yes, I have a.
Go ahead, Wallace.
Not even a question, a statement. I'm just saying this has been way overdue for a very long time, because we've been stopping a lot of people from being able to move forward with their lives and be able to purchase taxi cabs, which changes this status and give them an opportunity to appeal the findings. If they're not happy with the findings, there is a process now that they can appeal it, rather than somebody just saying, you can't have a license, and it's judged by one person or one hand without nobody able to say anything or appeal process. So I'm happy to see that, we can put something forward that can change the lives of many people and give them an opportunity to work and purchase cabs and enjoy the great American, that we live in and stuff, and just be able to do what they got to do and get their dream going. There you go.
Anything else on the question? Thank you. I'm so big on second chances, so I'm happy to see this go forth and support those who will benefit from this. Roll call.
Councilmember Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilmember Gleason,
Aye.
Councilmember Turnquest Jones,
Aye.
Councilmember Wallace,
Aye.
Council President Thompson.
Aye.
Okay, I have, which one is that?
Number 9.
There you go. City ordinance amending 237 taxi cabs of the Code of the City of Mount Vernon to promote public safety and establish new regulations for registering Class A taxi cabs operating within the city. So moved.
Second.
On the question?
Yes,
Wallace?
just to explain this piece too, this is a great thing, because right now we have taxi cabs that no matter how old the cars are, how junky the cars are, they can just roll up and pick people up. I think we need to this sets a standard actually of taxi cabs, how they're presented, how they're kept, and to make sure that they're not too old with ripped up seats and all this kind of thing. So this is a new age moving forward to upgrade our taxi cabs in the city and give the people of our city an opportunity to basically enjoy a taxi cab that pulls up, that doesn't smell like weed, that doesn't have ripped up seats, that's not falling apart, or with, like I seen some things with bungee cords holding the bumper up. So all of these kind of things will change with this kind of legislation as we upgrade it to beautify our city as well. This will be great for our city.
Can you remind me, what was the maximum age of the taxi
There
cab?
was no maximum age. It doesn't matter how old your car was, you can use it.
Now, what is it now?
Right now,
It was 10 years. What did we upgrade it to?
it's 15 years. It's 15 years. Usually it doesn't, we made it 15 years because some insurance companies, you can't get insurance anyway if your cab is past 10 years old, and the other insurance companies only go up to 14 years. So it doesn't even matter if it's 15, that's a flat year, but you're going to have to change it at 14 years or you're not going to be insured and you're not going to be able to ride
All
that
right.
cab around.
I think that's reasonable. Thank you.
Any other questions on the question?
Yeah, so I just want to give a shout out to the taxi cabs in Mount Vernon. I catch the cab on a regular basis because I often take the Metro North downtown to Manhattan and for work as well as for pleasure. And there are two individuals who are currently driving cab, and they were driving cab the same time when my dad used to drive cab here in Mount Vernon. And they keep a pretty good, clean taxi. So shout out to those who make sure that we get to and from places safely. Thank you.
And I have
Yes.
one
Go ahead.
add-on.
Hold on, we didn't vote on it yet. That was just on the question for that one. So, just so everyone knows that a Class A means you can operate a taxi, right? And a Class B is usually a livery cab, like a private company. Just because I know the language is a little different, so I try to make sure that we get plain information. Anything else on the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilmember Boxell,
Aye.
Councilmember Gleason,
Aye.
Councilmember Turnquest Jones,
Aye.
Councilmember Wallace,
Aye.
Council President Thompson.
Aye.
Number 14 is an add-on. City Council have an ordinance amending chapter 237 of the Code of the City of Mount Vernon, entitled Taxi Cabs, to add a new section regarding taxi tops advertisement. So moved.
Second.
On the question?
Yes.
Go ahead, Wallace.
This piece of legislation, so everyone can know and for the public too, is because taxi cab owners spend so much money on insurance, and now that they're gonna have to upkeep their cabs the proper way and all of that kind of things as well. This gives them the opportunity to put on top of their cabs and register the advertising, so they could bring in extra revenue to offset their insurance, offset their cabs. And they can make money, and the industry can make money by advertising within the city. And I think this was another plus that we're able to do for them to make sure that they can make money. And I just want to say we went through all this legislation. It's not something that just happened 1, 2, 3. We worked on this hard to make sure that we can get this going. And I like to thank the law department because I was harassing the law. Well, I wouldn't say harassing because let me not use that word. I was speaking. I was speaking on a
That's better.
constant basis with the corporation council to make sure that we did everything right, so that all the laws are in place the proper way and that all the legislation is drafted the proper way to benefit those people that are driving taxi cabs, to make sure that the city is covered as well as those who own these taxi cabs who want to purchase these and who want to put those advertising things on top to make their life a little bit easier.
Absolutely.
So I'd like to thank the law department for working with me on these three pieces of legislation. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
And I hope our local businesses actually tap into that as well, because that advertisement can sort of benefit our local businesses. Although there's a daily charge, so you have to look into that yourself, but local businesses can benefit from that taxi advertisement that's going through the city as well.
Absolutely.
Anything else on the question? Roll call?
Councilmember Boxell,
Aye.
Councilmember Gleason,
Aye.
Councilmember Turnquest Jones,
Aye.
Councilmember Wallace,
Aye.
Council President Thompson.
Aye. Thank
And
you.
that
Finance and planning? Baca?
Number 13 from Department, I'm sorry, number 10.
10.
Forgive me.
Mhm.
Number 10, Department of Assessment, an ordinance authorizing the attendance of senior assessment clerk at the 2026 Cornell Conference and authorizing related expenditures. This is July 19th to the 24th, 2026. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call?
Councilmember Boxell,
Aye.
Councilmember Gleason,
Aye.
Councilmember Turnquest Jones,
Aye.
Councilmember Wallace,
Aye.
Council President Thompson.
Aye.
All right, moving on. Number 11, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to convey city-owned property located at 52 Mercer Avenue, Mount Vernon, New York, to Reginald Lowell Jr. for the purchase price of $410,000. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call?
Councilmember Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilmember Gleason,
Aye.
Councilmember Turnquest Jones,
Aye.
Councilmember Wallace,
Aye.
Council President Thompson.
Aye.
All right, number 12 was held. I do have an add-on from the Department of Planning and Community Development, an ordinance authorizing the city of Mount Vernon to apply for funding under the New York Main Street Program, authorizing the mayor to execute all documents necessary to submit the application and authorizing, the implementation of the program upon award of grant funds. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilmember Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilmember Gleason,
Aye.
Councilmember Turnquest Jones,
Aye.
Councilmember Wallace,
Aye.
Council President Thompson.
Aye. That was,
Okay,
Did
that
you add
concludes
on?
our agenda.
yeah. Okay,
That was it.
that's it? I'm sorry, I missed 13, my bad. Do we have anything to come before the council?
I do.
Yes. Turnquest Jones?
So I just want to just make sure that everyone knows that Island Food Festival ran by Sean Marshall is on August 29th, 2026 at Brush Park from 1 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. He is giving out book bags to the students that reside in Mount Vernon. One more time, Island Food Festival, Sean Marshall is giving out book bags on August 29th, 2026 at Brush Park from 1 p.m. to 8:30. So shout out to Sean. Really appreciate that. Students need book bags. If you want to buy some dictionaries to add to there, that'd be a really good thing. Just want to have a moment of silence at the end for Larry Selders Sr. Larry Selders is a state senator from Louisiana, and he passed away at the age of 44. He's known as a gentle giant. He is respected by all. His special interest with children and mental health. He is also the line brother of our deputy clerk. He's also a brother for members of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. We would just like to have a moment of silence for him at the end. Just want to make sure that we understand that he's a beloved brother, son, father, husband, and esteemed entrepreneur.
Hey,
Thank you,
Yes.
sir, for your
Can-
services.
Councilwoman, can we
ahead,
also
Walter.
add Oscar Davis, who is a trustee of the library, who also does a lot in this community because his mother passed away.
Mhm.
And in that silence, maybe we can at least make sure we add her to this moment of silence as well, to grant our respects for his mom.
Also, there were a couple of residents in Mount Vernon who passed away while I was on vacation. I'm still looking up different things, but let's keep those families in your prayers. Also, the family of Nolan Xavier. Let's keep that family in your prayer as the facts continue to come forward. We're living in hard times and we never know what life is gonna dish out to us. That's why I always say, be kind to everyone and just be the best you can be and always lead with kindness and everything else will fall into place. So with that being said, do we have anything else come before the council?
Also, state special, I mean, we're giving shout outs. So shout out to the DPW, right? Because from July 4th, from the storm, some of us were in our houses and we didn't think that it was a big deal, but then we went out in the night and there were trees down all over the city, all over Westchester.
Mhm.
People were out of power. There were power lines down in the streets, and shout out to the fire department and police because they were quick to tape off the areas, because power lines, you can't mess around with that stuff, Nobody really got seriously hurt, and they did really great job in the cleanup. So thank you
They're
to
still
Mount Vernon,
cleaning up,
just,
absolutely.
working efficiently. So Thank you for that.
Thank you, DPW. Also, we only have one meeting this month, which is tonight, but, remember Mount Vernon Proud Day, and that's gonna be the second Saturday in August every single year. We celebrate, we wear maroon and gold, you know, and just be proud Mount Vernon Knights, whether you were born, raised, educated, or live here. That's a free event at Brush Park. This is our 6th year that we're having this event. It's at Brush Park, Saturday, August 8th, 2026, from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. And yes, we are still collecting donations. So if you'd like to make a monetary donation, you can head to the Recreation Department. You can write a check out to MVARYP, Friends of MVARYP. And, you know, those funds will be utilized for Mount Vernon Proud Day. I always reach out to our elected officials, so y'all know I'm gonna bother y'all again, and reach out to the elected officials who, work in Westchester County, because it's a beautiful event and all of our young people come out and have a great time. They bring their families and friends from all over, and it's just a great day. Wallace?
I did want to add one more thing, and I do want to also thank Councilwoman Gleason for your letter and your time, because after 4 months of asking, we finally got a chance to get into the firehouse. So I was able to go through the walkthrough with the firehouse. I also brought my chief estimator from my company. And we were able to take up all the measurements, do all the things that we had to do. We did see all of the things that needed to be seen. And I'm telling you, the firehouse, when I report back to you guys, is not in the shape as bad as we think. It's not nearly that expensive to renovate. And once we finish this report, this estimate, I'm gonna do soup to nuts and report back to the city council first, to make sure that you guys have an understanding of what exactly is happening there. We took the pictures, and we'll give you an entire cost estimate on exactly what it would cost to renovate at the state of the art and have a great state of the art firehouse to be redone. And but it couldn't have happened, I gotta say, without Councilwoman Gleason. You know, I've been asking to get in there for 4 months, and thanks to her, she got us in there, and we were able to do that. So thank you so much, and thank her, because now we're gonna be able to move forward and hopefully get that fire station back up online, because that's one of the goals, to make sure that we can keep and protect all of the people in that community.
You're gonna submit a cost analysis for that, or you say you're gonna renovate it for free?
I didn't say I'm a renovator for free. That's what
I got you.
was asked to me when I was there too. So, you know,
Yeah.
when I start a little bit, no, I'm going to do the full estimate cost analysis, the whole report and everything, free to the city, you know, from my company, make sure we have it done. So at least we have a number.
Mhm.
And I told everybody the number that we give will be compatible to any construction company that comes here with a number. So it'll be there. So we have an engineer's report and a basis of an engineering estimate, I should say, a basis of what it's going to cost. So even when we go out to bid for it, because I'm not going to bid on it, of course, because I work for the city of Mount Vernon, but we will have a number and we'll know what the price is to renovate it and get the people back in there. So I think that's a great thing. And thank you, Councilwoman Gleason, for making that happen.
Oak Street.
The
Oak Street.
Firehouse. Yes,
Mhm.
yes, Oak Street Firehouse.
Anything else?
We
Go ahead,
can't-
Lisa.
we can't take credit for that. That's the mayor and her administration. One thing that I would like to mention is that our youth bureau is having the Planting the Seeds Gala, where a third of the proceeds go to scholarship for youth pursuing profession and vocational trade. That is going to be July 23rd. Last year, we raised $16,000. I'm sorry, 2024 raised $16,000 from the gala. And this year, we're trying to get to $20,000. It is at the Green Tree, July 23rd from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Be there.
Mhm. Also, there's a fish fry on, what is that, Sunday? Sunday, yeah.
Deputy clerk is being honored, sorry. Our deputy clerk is.
That's right.
That,
Jordan. Absolutely.
who is also a product of the Youth Bureau,
Right.
going to law school.
Awesome.
Well, he's got his JD.
Yes, we definitely have to be the support. We definitely have to be the support, Deputy Clerk Jordan. So, we're gonna, definitely support him with that. So, with that being said, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call on adjournment?
Councilmember Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilmember Gleason,
Aye?
Councilmember Turnquest Jones,
Aye.
Councilmember Wallace,
Aye.
Council President Thompson.
Aye. Let's stand for a moment of silence, please. Thank you. The time is now 7 minutes after 10, and this meeting is adjourned.